Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. It's time once again to bring you that good old Friday dose of an obscurity in literature. So, I have mentioned many times on this channel over many moons that I am a big fan of character design books, and, well, especially when it comes to mobile games. Mobile games, for whatever reason, especially with the kind of Japanese gotcha model of, constantly gambling away for whatever kind of rare character you're going to get for that, event, week, whatever the case may be, depending upon the game, they tend to have a lot, and I mean a lot of character turnover as time goes, and especially for really long-lasting games. Fire Emblem, obviously, being a flagship, well, semi-flagship title for Nintendo, is no different, but Fire Emblem Heroes in particular is an interesting app that draws from everything that the series and franchise has had in it at this point, and quite a lot more, if we're going to be honest. It may not be one of my favorite games. In fact, I gotta be honest, I haven't touched it in quite some time because it just got to be a bit of a money grab and too ridiculous to keep up with. But I'll be honest, I have kept up quite a bit on the character designs. They're really nice, and they have a lot of famous Japanese artists that have worked on it. And that's what we have in front of us today. The Fire Emblem Heroes Character Illustrations, Volume 1. We'll talk about that Volume 1 in a sec. First thing you need to know, though, is this book, I know I've kind of conveniently kept it off camera completely, is absolutely massive. Absolutely freaking massive. Just to give you a good idea of like a English, or English speaking, well, Shikara is English, technically, typical Western graphic novel in comparison to this book. So if you have any interest in character design or just want some good, nice looking art to ogle, or if you're a fan of either Fire Emblem Heroes itself or just the series in general, I don't think you can really go wrong with this book. Where did this base come from? I don't even know. So upon opening said tome, you are greeted to page, and I mean page after page of character art. You do get the breakdown of the rarities for the characters, or am I thinking of a different book? I'm like, I've got so many of these different types of books, I cannot remember. You do get the original release date, if we can get that in focus better, just to give you guys an idea. So you can see right there with Raven. You get the elemental color, you get the unit types, you get all the pertinent information and what kind of character, what event he came in, what year he was in, what game he might have originally come from. I want to say he was in Sacred Stones, if I'm reading that correctly, and all of that other stuff. You get the main unit art, you get their little in-game chibi form, for lack of a better term, you get their attacking animation, skill animation, and damaged just attack event. But you get that for every single character in the game. There's just an absolute ton. I wanted to say, are some of the Shiro designs in here? I've been on a bit of a Masamune Shiro kick lately. I'm probably going to have to post some videos on his stuff. Nope, I was pretty close. It's a Daisuke Izuka who actually has done tons and tons of Fire Emblem art anyways, so that's not the biggest surprise. I want to say it was the 3DS or original 2DS re-release of the original Fire Emblem game that had all of the Masamune Shiro artwork for it. In fact, somewhere I actually have an art book of it. Here, I want to say this was actually originally included, and you can just get a good look at the size there. I want to say it was included in an old issue of Famitsu. So here, just to give you a good idea of how things started, here is good old Marth from the very beginning of Fire Emblem. I'm sorry, some of these are just awful, but they are definitely products of their time. But as I was saying, then you get that Masamune Shiro art here, and I gotta get I want to say one of the Intron Depot books actually has all of his Fire Emblem stuff, sketch designs, and I mean, I thought he did an awesome job of really bringing this stuff back. I was not aware he did a bunch of online MMORPG artwork as well. See, the Minerva artwork actually looks like Izuka's stuff, I think. Little Camus. And then we get to Arm in Fire Emblem Gaiden. He looks like a schlub, I'm sorry. Yeah, this is just a cool little book. It's like 75, 80 pages of nothing but Fire Emblem character art, but that's old school. This is new school. This is modern, and unfortunately does not have any Shiro art, but it does have every single freaking character that was in the game up to a certain point. Now, unfortunately, it does not have anything really extensive in the way of early design works. And like, it does have a lot of the costumes that are available in the game, of which there are a ridiculous amount, because that's how most of these character gacha games tend to work. Like, you name the season, you got characters dressed for it. They've got every type. Summertime, wintertime, White Day, Valentine's, wedding outfits, Halloween. It's all in here. Ah, there is some. I kept thinking there might be some of the early ads, some of the summoner, some of the original characters do have some design work, which is kind of nice to see. Actually, I gotta say that's a fairly substantial amount. The stupid owls. Now, one of the things that actually really irks me about this is you get all of the artwork for the generic enemy units. The one thing that this book does not have is the dragon forms for any of the shapeshifters, which I thought was a bit of a letdown, because not all of the shapeshifters actually have the same design. A bunch of anniversary illustrations and stuff. And if this book wasn't enough, at a mere 616 pages, it's got a sequel, which is almost just as big, at, only 474 pages. So you're looking at nearly 1,000 pages of character artwork and designs of entirely new stuff in both books. There are no repeats. There's obviously repeat characters, but no repeat artwork. You have like the characters in their splendid or whatever super forms. There's just an absolute ton. And then again, my big gripe, you don't see the shape-shifting forms, and you don't see like a lot of the summon stuff, the characters that use like summoning attacks, which is kind of a shame, I thought. But again, there's some really nice art here. You've got a lot of the originals design work. The various gods, the dwarves. I can't remember her name at the moment. The girl with the armored centaur thing. She was pretty cool. I remember playing through her section of the story. Oh, the flying gun mage girl. I'm not usually into the little girl type things at all, but she was kind of neat. Again, we do see some of the design works here. All the various stages. And I mean, honestly, it would not shock me at all if we end up seeing an eventual book 3. So looking at the later characters. Interesting that... Okay, maybe I should look right here. This is up to 2021. So I absolutely wouldn't put it past Nintendo or Intelligent Cube or... Who published this? I'm not even sure. Nintendo, it looks like. Wouldn't surprise me in the least if we see another volume in the future, possibly in 2024. They do have a bit hefty price tags, so do keep that in mind. I don't think there was anything code-wise special that was released with it. That's usually something that a lot of these Japanese character design books, especially based on games, tend to have. They often have like special codes for character skins or whatever. Like I said, the Arknights book had some. The Grand Blue Fantasy books have a bunch of stuff for free draws, things like that. I don't think these had any. So if you do want to look for it, in the used bookstores in Japan, you might get a better deal, but considering the sheer size and weight of these things, you're going to probably end up having to pay a good hefty chunk for shipping. So just be careful, be aware of that. You see any places that, offer these or have them in stock that do offer shipping, take advantage. I'd say get them both at the same time, especially if you're a big fan. I've always enjoyed the Fire Emblem games. I may not be very good at them, and I haven't played any of the more recent ones, but yeah, I've always enjoyed the series, especially the portable ones. Not this one so much, but yeah. There are like bits of story lore and stuff in here as well. So there's just a lot to enjoy. There's a lot to look at. This is one of those things that I like to pull off the shelf, and it's like every time I do, I end up stumbling across something new, which is always kind of fun as well. So hopefully, if you're a fan, I would absolutely recommend them. If you're a designer, if you are interested in character, creation, that kind of stuff, I think these are really fun books to have. Like I've mentioned many, many times, I've got tons of these types of books, and I'm thinking I'll probably wind down the year with a few more of these, with some definitely more obscure games, too. I mean, obviously, Fire Emblem is a pretty big one, but there's a lot of content to be had here, too. So, with that said, then, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities and Miniatures, saying thanks for watching, and we will see you back here soon. Bye-bye.